The condition is really crazy condition.
And that shouldn't give away the whole secret to professional windsurfing.
Maciek giving Antoine elbow a run for his body. Here we go. Woo! What a finish!
The guy is kind of talking bullshit.
The team's just got to work a little harder. Welcome to the Windsurfing Podcast, back again for episode 14. And this week, we have a landscape gardener who turned pro pretty recently, he's been doing freestyle for a long time, but he said he never really fit into the categories for competition. And it wasn't until the introduction of foil where his career really took off. He is the ultimate of crazy. He is the most motivated, energized windsurfer, windfoiler I have ever spoken to. And you can't help but like him. It is, of course, Balz Müller.
Balz, how you doing, man?
Good morning. Good. I mean, it's been a hell of a few past weeks. We've been up in Silva Plana. Actually, it wasn't too long we met each other.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Yeah. Well, I met you and then you won 2 world championships in about 3 days. So not bad, huh?
Yeah. True. And to be honest, a sort of new discipline, which is I mean, I don't know, it feels weird to maybe set the bar for a race discipline in a new sport. Me sort of as a freestyler doing now racing, but that's about winging. We're talking about windsurfing. That's what I wanted to ask you, we're in the Windsurfing.TV or the Windsurf.TV?
No, windsurfing. Still Windsurfing TV. But Ben said winging TV might be the next to do. Yeah, man, I was scared you're gonna go Hollywood on me, and be too cool for this interview.
No.
You're already pimped out your van, I see, from all the
my home.
Yeah.
True.
Life from the van life.
The endless van life. Yeah. To be honest, it's nice. You're just home wherever you roll. You roll up to the spot and then you're home. It's getting harder these days because you're not allowed to stay wherever you want anymore. But there's still a few places, also in Switzerland, where you can hide and just live your own thing and have a good time right at the spot, which is basically what I'm looking for, what I'm chasing.
The other thing I was worried was that you're not going to find time because you're sailing or winging or skateboarding or... So what happened? You're tired or do you actually
busy weeks. But I've been on the water yesterday and a friend had a marriage yesterday. So we had a wild party yesterday evening and I sort of checked when you were texting me, I was like, oh fuck, I got to do this, but I won't find time, I was like, boy, it's always windy. I mean, these days with the foils, it's literally every day windy, you always find some wind if you're looking for it. And I'm in this age and this stage of life where I'm just, all I want to do is seek wind and be on the water, So you texted me and I was like, oh, Sunday, it's going to be cold and rainy. So am I going to get like my day off or sort of not my day off? My sponsor always telling me, hey, you got to do 1 day off per week. And I'm like, oh, which day should I choose, And then always when I'm telling out tomorrow I'm going to make the day off, it's for sure going to be windy and I'm on the water again. So basically the past weeks, the past months, I've been every day chasing wind.
I know. And then when I saw you when I arrived to Switzerland, you had a busted ankle. You could barely walk. And then I'm like, so Balz, you're resting for the upcoming event. And you're like, no, man, it's windy. It's windy. I gotta go.
Yeah, that's another story. To be honest, with my ankle, I got to. Now I'm not in pain. I don't feel it, but I sort of like half of my outside ligaments were ripped and overstretched. So the doctor told me to slow down a bit things for about 1.5, 2 months. But as I'm able to walk, I'm able to surf. I'm always telling, and he even said to me, foiling is not that bad because foiling is sort of the best physio. It's those small and powerful movements where you actually always have strength on the ankle, which is the best you can do as long as you're not twisting and jumping around and fooling around.
I was about to ask, did you tell the doctor that you're gonna do double culos on the foil?
I had no double air culo, but I was about to do them. In the end, during the competition, I was almost out of my mind. No, but the funniest thing is with that ankle injury, it actually happened in Greece. We were doing a towing show. And when it happened, I was swimming to the beach. I was like, fuck, my life is over. I have no more life. And then this guy showed up. Like, I was sitting there. My ankle was like fully stiff and swollen. And he was like, oh, you know what? I'm actually an ankle specialist. And I was like, hey. And he's also foiling. So he sort of, he knows the passion. You know, and he was straight away motivating me. And I think always when you have injuries, the best is to just like prove that it's gonna be good to yourself, so you don't feel like, oh, I will be destroyed forever, you know.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest difference between doctors and physios. Somehow every time I go to a doctor, they're like, it's a surgery, and then you go to the physio and they're like, you know, we can do this exercise and this physiotherapy, and we can stick a massive needle up your ass, and you know, you'll be fine and in 3 weeks or whatever, you know. So definitely physios. For me, it's definitely first. Only if the physio tells me I need to go to the doctor, then I go. You know.
Yeah.
Which is
nice.
Which
Hey,
is
Evap just brought me a coffee to the van. It's nice.
Sick. Yeah.
yes.
I mean, I don't think you need any caffeine, man.
No. I'm, to be honest, since I'm together with Eva, I start drinking more and more coffee, and I'm not sure if it's a positive or a negative. I'm more active than before, and I used to be active already before. So
more active than before. Can you be more active than before?
That's a good question. I mean, I need to move my body. I need to do something. You know, I'm not able to sit around all day. And then to be honest, I'm not a gym guy. I've been once in the gym with Yentl, Nick, and Mark Barret in a 5-star luxury hotel in Almerimar, you know. But we actually only went for the shower. But we've been in the gym, and I was like, yeah, now I'm a gym bro, you know. And I was there, and it felt wrong to me, because I'm the sort of sportsman on the water. I'm not really in the gym. But the older I get, I start to understand why it's important to sort of make some exercises, you know, to get yourself in a healthy position. That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, you're the gym guy. You've been in the gym yesterday. Saturday night gym
session.
Lost. Yeah. No.
Yeah, what else to do, you know? No wind. You can go out, you know, get drunk and whatever, but I'm starting to slowly get too old for this. Not too old, but I'm like, I did it so many times, you know, that I don't know.
Yeah, but there was no Carpa this year. No Fuerte.
I know, but you know, in Fuerte for us, it's not, I don't know. I think the slalom guys, it's hard these days to go out during the event, because
in freestyle, I mean, you know, in freestyle it's not easier. When you look at Hugo de Sousa, the young Brazilian, he was out every night, and he was always coming home like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and then Loic wanted to sort of like tell him, man, you got to be on point, and he would have had the thing to be a really good freestyler, but he just wasted his young life doing party during competition. I mean, I'm always telling there's enough time after the competition to go wild.
And also, you know, when you're coming from Poland, not many parties can beat what you have at home. It's really like, you know, we have an amazing party scene, you know. So then like going out during a contest is super stupid, you know, because you can go home and you can party the same or better.
You can session. That's true.
Yeah, actually now with foiling, maybe you can come to Poland, because for foiling, it's windy every day, you know.
And to be honest, what I'm looking for is also for winging in those waves you guys have. I know, but you also make them look with the windsurf gear good. But you know, you never would
soft
think
waves,
to go sort of. It's rare, I think, the days you have proper waves.
Yeah. But next week is gonna be 4 days, so not too bad.
I think it's the same like on my lake, we now also, we're scoring now 50 cm waves, and we're hyped, tomorrow there's a big east wind storm, hopefully. You never know, the forecast changed so quick here up in Switzerland, and with the mountains and the topography, it's sometimes ridiculous windy, and sometimes it's just nothing.
Yeah.
But anyway,
if you want, get your ass in the van and
drive up to Poland now.
Yeah, it's only like 12 hours or something.
Yeah, they got good vodka,
Yeah.
No, hey, the funniest thing is the past weekend I could have been in Denmark for a winging event, and I could have been in Italy for a winging event. But next weekend I could be somewhere else for a winging event, and hey, people constantly texting me, hey, I'm gonna do this wing competition there, I'm gonna do this wing competition here, and I'm like, yesterday I had the first time this actually, I realized, oh, maybe next year I will be winging every weekend at an event. It's gonna be, I don't know how it's gonna be, but there will be this GWA tour, the Global Winging Association, and this, I don't know, with winging you can go everywhere. So am I gonna be in Poland for a winging competition? Who knows? And also,
I was about to get to that. First of all, now you're the winging race world champion, so I hope you charge like an appearance fee. Otherwise, you're destroying the sport before it's even born.
Yeah, exactly. We should set the bar high,
Exactly, Don't do the kiting mistake.
Yeah.
Second of all, I was about to ask you later on in the podcast, like, winging is booming. Are you not scared? Like you say, you're gonna have a winging contest every weekend. When the hell are you gonna windsurf?
That's exactly the point. And to be honest, the dumbest question I heard a lot now in the past days is always, hey, how much you're actually windsurfing between all your winging? And then I'm like, man, if I have the chance to go windsurfing, I'm out on the windsurf gear straight. But hey, at home, you guys, you can't believe we're struggling with below 12 knots wind. And I like racing on windsurf gear, but I'm just so much, for me, it feels so much easier to go with the wing. I just pump this thing up, and I'm loose, unconnected to the gear. I don't need to carry my 9-meter sail like you guys do, But it's hard to say. If there are the windsurf conditions, I'm telling this now straight out, if I have 4 freestyle conditions, definitely out freestyling my ass off. I'm not yet done with freestyle windsurfing. And as you know, freestyle windsurfing at the moment, what's happening there, it's ridiculous. It's mind-blowing every day. I'm having a good session. Dribble air culo, it's gonna be a thing for sure. There will be people jumping dribble rotation out of flat water, and it's with all those power air moves, which actually basically came up in the past years. I really sort of grown into the freestyle, and it's my life, And winging, it's different, because winging, I'm scared to do tricks with the wing. I'm facing fear doing a flip with the wing, because yesterday evening I got this message from Henning, the German guy. He got his foil in the head, and apparently quite savage. So he was in hospital with and then he was telling me afterwards, yeah, now I got the reason why I should wear a helmet too,
Yeah.
Crazy.
It just seems like you don't have, somehow on the windsurf gear, you let go and the gear flies away from you.
Yeah. And the wing basically just drops below you, and you land on top of it, and then the foil reaches out for you in the end. That's,
yeah.
Oh, don't even want to. There will be a pro model helmet coming out soon. Should be here the next weeks, which is I can recommend for all the wingers out there trying to do some front and back flips. Get yourself a helmet, maybe even, I don't know, an impact suit with Kevlar inside.
Does it come in XXXL?
Yeah, for your size, one size only, I think,
Yeah. Definitely doesn't fit
No,
me
man,
once and so.
man, but you got to keep your helmet. You know, that's your signature helmet.
I know,
Even
but
though-
they told me, they told me for the IQ foil for the Olympic class, it doesn't have this certificate. It needs some sort of certificate.
Also, if you got too many stickers on your helmet, you're also not passing it. You know.
Really?
That's because my pro model we basically gonna send out as a blank helmet like my one used to be, and then we like the sponsors involved they sent some stickers extra with it, so you can actually sticker up your own signature helmet of yourself like I used to do and I'm still doing. And then we got this idea and I was like, oh sick, I'm gonna like get this new helmet, I patch it on full with like nice logos. And in the end, the guy was like, yeah, but we got to do certain certifications to prove that the helmet is not breaking. And apparently when you have too many stickers on your helmet, it's the safety is useless. What I heard.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I mean,
That's
all
crazy.
the kids, we used to have helmets full stickered. Like there was no space left.
Oh, you still do, no?
Yeah, still there's no space. But these days, I'm sort of getting paid for the stickers. Like Windsurfing.TV.
Yeah, it used to be like I used to put, it used to be cool somehow, no? It like you used to put stickers just because it's cool when you're like 16, 17, whatever, and now you're like putting the least stickers possible because of the performance of the gear, and also because like you don't want to put a sticker below a certain amount of money.
That's the point, and I mean, for a head sponsor in hockey, ice hockey, that they get paid well, they make a living from head sponsors on their helmets. And I remember 3 years ago, I wanted to get like a helmet sponsor, and I was asking around what I could expect or sort of what would be the refund, and I realized in windsurfing, this is not working out. But maybe these days with all the foiling where we all got to wear a helmet, it's going to be a thing.
Yeah, and there's only like 2 or 3 brands, that are doing helmets that have this certificate and that are kind of light enough and they don't get water in the, like the worst is when you have a helmet, I don't know, like the first helmet I wore was a snowboarding helmet.
Yeah,
so,
and they soak up the material.
Yeah, the material soaks up and then you're sailing and the water drips all over your eyes and it's just totally crap,
Hey, you guys gonna have those racing helmets, with the
visor.
Yeah. And I'm joking, but maybe those aerodynamic helmets,
Maybe.
those carbon high tech fast helmets.
Yeah. If it comes to this, means I really need to shave my head, Because this is definitely not aerodynamic.
This is like extra bonus, when you before the competition you shave the head and then you go like. Maybe I'm actually good. It's just the hair, It must be the hair, If I would be your sponsor, I would already kicked you out the team with that hair,
You're laughing, but there was a conversation with one of my sponsors about the hair and the image.
To be, or it's still.
No, was just one conversation, and I said no way I'm cutting it, and it's my
it's your statement as well.
Signature, no matter how bad it looks, like Scott Fenton. When you think about Scott Fenton, what do you?
Yeah, but that used to be nice, the red stripe over the head.
Yeah, or Andy Chambers, bubble, same thing,
True.
Okay.
I still meet people at the beach buying his fin, the bubble K4 plastic fantastic. Apparently it's still running, this fin.
No, the K4 they got like this stiffer plastic now.
Yeah. They should get into foils, plastic foils. It's gonna be a thing, because man, I mean, my dad, he used to be so scared for 3 years now to step on foils because he had dead wishes, of the sharp rails. He was really like scared. And now, I mean, imagine we would have a plastic soft edge, not a soft edge, but like a soft top foil. For sure, we're gonna cut the performance ridiculous, but I mean, it's going to be safe, you know. And
yeah, but it's gonna be impossible to ride with how soft the mast is. No, maybe the wings
yeah,
can be
the
plastic.
mast needs to be carbon, but I mean, I'm talking about the stabilizer, the edge, even just the edge, the winglets, you know.
Yeah. Anyway, you know this podcast is like really organized, and we went full freestyle mode. You know, I have my little agenda, and you just destroyed it. So.
All right. So we
No,
go
I'm
through
just
your
kidding.
agenda now. Hey, but you got to. I'm a freestyler, you know. Going through my life freestyle.
Yeah.
But you definitely can put all the questions you want. It's But I got to talk about the trophies in your backyard there, man. You're collecting some trophies.
Yeah, I was quite good as a junior and a youth. You know, I used to win a trophy pretty much every contest, every weekend, you know. So yeah.
You've
There's a
been
couple.
Formula World Champion. You?
Yeah, junior, Formula, youth, slalom.
Actually, I never went international, but I used to compete Formula as well.
Yeah, I saw you had like on your PWA profile it says you were like slalom Swiss champion.
You know, many people don't know my race background. You know, I used to be a racer. I used to be on 3-3 fully overpowered. There was once a race. There was so much wind. There were 60 knots. The guys, they were all struggling, and it was like life jacket mandatory. And the guys like Patrick and Danny, they were on the heavy weight vests, you know, so they could hold on to the 5 meters. And from, I don't know, 60 competitors, there were only like 25 at the start. And most of them didn't reach the first buoy because they couldn't get half wind. You know, they were going upwind like hell. And I was on 3-3 like this, you know, with the small board. And I was at the chibe, I was destroying everyone. I just like sort of made a wave chibe. And the guys, they were like all falling everywhere. So that was my racing career. And then I was into Formula. And Peter was my idol, Peter Vollwater, because he was doing jumps. And Patrick as well, he was doing loops. And then I did a back loop with my race gear in South France, and I completely destroyed, like the nose of the board just broke up. And then Patrick told me, yeah, but it's not meant to jump, you know, on the landing. And then I was like, yeah, but look, here are you in the magazine, you know, he was doing front flips. And then as well, I fully destroyed the sail. I broke all the buttons because I was in the short break with the sail. So I had like one backflip attempt that broke the nose of the board up, and then I destroyed the complete sail, 11 square meter of trash in the end. And
yeah, we used to have Formula contests in Silt.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
That's what, you know, the crazy thing with winging, it's going to be also interesting. I hope there will be winging in Silt. I mean, it could probably be really nice to have a winging competition there, but in the short break, it's going to be like you guys now with the foils.
Yeah, but at least you don't break, no? Like with the foil, if you get washed, you don't want to be anywhere near the gear. So basically you let it go and everything breaks.
Part of the game, you know, like Formula One, you know, they fuck up, they spend millions.
Yeah.
We fuck up, but the worst thing is we actually pay for the stuff, you know, and those Formula car drivers, they earn money to destroy gear, you know. That's an industry problem.
Yeah, well, we don't actually pay, but we kind of get deducted from our budget or whatever. Yeah. So, yeah. But anyway, so this kind of your Formula racing background, because I think not many people know where the hell did you come from? I mean, it just seems like you were not there, and then all of a sudden, you know, you were dropping edits with double shifties, you know. So tell us a little bit how you even arrived on the scene.
The arrival was pretty much with the Shifty, I think, because the Shifty was like sort of this new rotation. Everyone was like, I had so much shitstorm about this move, because I understand, you know, the way I was doing it at first was a completely disaster, fully over rotated, sort of double push loop rotation, and everyone was telling me, stop doing shifties, it's not good for your brain, you know. That was at that time I was 16, and I sort of had no control. I was going to be honest, I was only trying it when I was on 3.3 and 4.0, kind of completely overpowered, because I thought that's the way it got to be done, you know.
So you tried it in like 2010 or what?
Yeah, 2010, 2011, completely, you know, the shakas when you like get the back whips, like this sort of thing. And I realized quickly that we could do some sort of moves out of it. And it took me 6 or 7 years to land the trick. I mean, it was Steven who sort of proved me that the rotation you can actually stop. And he was telling me, man, make it simple, only one rotation. I was thinking I got to do like a shifty shaka push loop into rolling out the backflip and then landing like a backflip. So the first clips on YouTube, I think they were 2013, 2014, fully overspinning the shifty, like landing nose first after a 720. And I'm still considering it would be possible to do like a triple rotation like this, going, I mean, Titun, Anton Marta, he's proving that it's possible. No one went close again, you know, since that time.
Even he didn't. Even he tried, and
he tried. He was, but you know, it's the point is, everything is sort of possible as long as you get like the landing safe, and that's the problem with all those tricks. You can send a triple loop, but the landing got to be in place. Otherwise, you end up like Bushma, which is now scared as fuck to go for a double because he completely destroyed himself.
Yeah,
and I mean, you know, fair enough. It's super scary to knock out in water. I mean, I was knocked out in water in Cape Town, and all I remember is like how Steven and my brother, they picked me out of the water, and I couldn't move, I couldn't talk, and they got me on my board, and that was 30 seconds, like boom, gone away. And then when I sort of got back to reality, I was realizing, boy, if they wouldn't have straight catch me after the impact, I got the rail here on the side, the board rail, doing I don't know, burner into letting go, and it just slammed me off. I would be gone, you know.
Even with the helmet, huh? Even though
even
you
to
had
the helmet.
Wow.
Even to the helmet. And yeah, looking at my helmet, you see a lot of shit was going on with that helmet, you know. It probably saved me a few times to life. But that's the, you know, when you're pushing boundaries and you try to go further. Coming back to my story, I was like, from a little kid, I was always trying new stuff, and there was not one session I tried something new. And I remember the older guys on my lake, they were like, man, stop crashing, you're crashing so much. And I used to crash, like I remember I used to crash all the time, especially with the cheese roll. I'm trying this move, so I'm doing it since many years now, but I used to try it for 10 years in a row, and I crashed every day, and the guys were like, man, what are you doing? And then at one point I sort of landed it, and the guys were like, oh. And that's the point, you know, you got to fail like 1,000 times, and then the 1,001 time you're gonna land it, and then it's here, you know. And it's mental. Freestyling, or like all the tricks, it's mental, because you I mean, most of us are not born with the skills that they can do it. So you got to do something to stick to moves, you know.
So
that's what I'm always doing.
So you grow up basically like landlocked in Switzerland, and then you like.
I used to snowboard a lot, you know, and snowboarding we used to do the cork and like cork and sort of the same rotations, rodeo and cork rotation, like in windsurfing. And in snowboarding, when you're actually landing onto the snow, it's gonna destroy yourself. And in windsurfing, I realized you can actually crash 1,000 times, and it's not gonna destroy yourself, you know. So that's the benefit of the water sports, you know. It doesn't really kills you. Yeah.
So what was your best move in snowboarding?
Yeah, the best move I had was like the cork 720. So that's like that double sort of double flip rotation, like two rotations with a over the shoulder. And
yeah, that's pretty sick, huh? You can already like do some contests and like.
You can, but you know, the point is sticking them 100% on a big air kicker is another story than when you stick it like a few times in powder, you know. in powder snow, you bring it, you can do it quite easy, I would say. But also there, it's all about your head. You got to be dumb enough to try it and to spin it, you know. Many people, they're not going for it, even though they would probably have the skills, you know.
Yeah. So correct me if I'm wrong. You finish school, you become a landscaper, basically to make money to
go windsurfing at Trent.
And when I met you, you were basically like trying. You were not like, okay, today I'm gonna train culos, or today I'm gonna train whatever, spoken to culo, double burner, whatever. You were just like doing a different move every single run, and like probably crashing like 70%. So how
80% probably. Maybe even more.
So how do you get from that to like actually landing all these moves? Because it didn't seem like you were training them, but it was not like, you know, today I learned this move, you know.
I think the point is, you know, when you're crashing, you're actually always progressing, because the point is you can do the same trick over and over wrong without progressing. But I was always crashing, and I was considering what I did wrong. And the most important part now, talking out to everyone, the best is when you got guys filming you, and you got like, I'm always telling, when you want to land a trick, you got to have a 360 vision of yourself, like doing this movement. And this is so important. And I was lucky that with my brothers, we were filming a lot. So I had like every position in the air I could imagine. I knew where I'm sort of staying. And that's the most important part, to actually visualize what you're doing. And I'm also telling dreaming. I learned so much stuff dreaming about windsurfing. I'm still dreaming, so like I have wild dreams of windsurfing. And my girlfriend, she's telling me sometimes I'm flipping in bed. At the moment, it's more with the winging, you know, the wing backflips. But I'm dreaming, and during my dreams, it feels so real. It's like it's almost happening, you know. And then I'm telling you, always when I had injuries, I was three months off the water, and I came back better than before, because I was focusing mentally on what I'm gonna do. And back in the days, I used to just send it and crash, and then I sort of started thinking more about what I'm doing, and I started to land the tricks, you know. I think
crazy
the most
you say about those dreams, because lately I heard that I was pumping during my dreams. So I mean, I really don't dream of pumping around in 5 knots. I dream about Fiji down the line, you know, but somehow
we all it's been way too long I've been in proper wave conditions, and to be honest, I'm not even thinking about it. But the last crazy night I had was before I did this wing backflip in Silva Plana, because the guys the guys Jeffrey, Spencer and Kai and his brother Rich, they were doing those backflips overnight. They suddenly they had the flick, and they could do the backflip with the wing. And this was the game changer, because I knew, when someone does the first flip rotations, it's gonna be here to stay, you know. And it completely destroyed me. I knew I got to do it as well, so I couldn't sleep. And I was the whole night thinking of the rotation. And then the day after, I had to try it on Silva Plana with 12 to 18 knots maybe. I was pumping with the small wing, the 2.6. Because I knew the guys in Maui, they're actually doing it without the wing. They're doing it just the backflip, and the wing is next to them, you know. And I used to do it now for 6 months completely wrong. I used to go up, looked over the shoulder, got pulled backwards, destroyed.
Yeah, exactly the same like Ricardo. If you freeze frame Ricardo's one, he's doing a push loop. And you need to do a snowboarding backflip, you know, so you're snowboarding background kind of.
Or like the bumping backflip, you know, where the guys actually use the foil.
Yeah.
Hey, but this is another story. It's gonna be what's still here to come. What's still gonna be possible. It's mad.
We'll get to winging. But you mentioned the waves, and I don't know if you remember first time we met. I was going to a photo shoot and a trip to Australia with Patrick, and I knew Adam Lewis is gonna be there.
Yeah, and Adam was sort of the idol. on the first day he broke all his masts, and I was like, oh, that's wave sailing, you know.
Yeah.
I haven't met you guys before, and I was like I was the chicken in this group, huh?
Well, I don't know if you were the chicken. Like Patrick told me, yeah, you know, we have this guy coming. You guys buy the van, and he's gonna come with you and whatever. He's really good. He crashes a little bit too much, but he's really good. You know, he's gonna be good. I think you were like 19, no? 18.
Yeah, I know. I just turned 18, to be honest.
Yeah.
I was just allowed to drive the car. I remember. And in the end, I was
nice. You're telling us now.
Yeah. No.
But I don't know if you were the chicken, because after a week, it became pretty apparent that we're not going to be able to keep up with you in terms of energy. Like, we were driving, you know, in Western Australia, you just drive a fuckload. And every time you saw some water, you were like, hey, freestyle spot. Hey, I don't know. Light wind freestyle spot. Flow style. Let's go. Come on. Hey, surfing.
I'm surfing in the morning as well.
Yeah.
Oh, but I was so shit surfing. And I remember you guys almost were ashamed to go out in the water with me. There were all those good spots I remember. And I was like with the shorty, short arm, short leg shorty. And everyone was like, oh, what's that kook? And I was like fin first paddling out, you know.
Yeah, with the legs spread like wide. Yeah.
Well, but that was a cool trip. I still remember. And there was also Gunnar on the trip.
Yeah, Gunnar definitely didn't keep up with your energy.
No.
Was just laying in bed watching. I'm not going to say what he was watching.
Inspiration.
But anyway, what I wanted to mention is that I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks, 2 weeks of free sailing. And then like we had a 2-week photo shoot or 3-week photo shoot or whatever. And like literally after 5 days, you come back home with an ankle the size of
an elephant
pumpkin, you know. And Patrick is like, what are you, Dad? Because you were kind of the only freestyler on the trip, you know, like I can do half a
How
Volcan.
did you freestyle tricks? I remember.
Yeah, I can do a Volcan and Adam can do a grabby, and Patrick can actually freestyle a little bit as well. But anyway, you're the only proper freestyler, so we had to photo shoot, and Patrick was going crazy. So then you were like, no, Patrick, but I'm here. I need to go sailing. And like, you were not giving up, you know, even though like with your ankle, I couldn't probably even walk. And then Patrick took off foot straps. He's like, okay, you can go windsurfing, but you're not allowed to use foot straps.
Hey, but that was actually the best experience ever. Narlu strapless. I'm still dreaming of those days. I'm not sure if it worked on your wave spots. It's probably not going to work, but there, strapless, man, it was like I was moving back, I was moving forward, and it felt so nice because I sort of could have stand and have put myself always in the perfect position. We got to do it more often, strapless.
It didn't look very nice, I have to say, but the amount of stoke you had was definitely, you know, making up for it. But yeah, Narlu was pretty sick, I have to say.
I had to get out there. That was the point, you know.
Yeah,
it would have been a bummer to miss out that spot, you know.
Yeah, definitely. So at that time you were like just starting. Yeah, I think it was your first year, and you know, landscaping to make money, and you know, staying in your van at events. And
exactly, it used to work 5 to 6 months in the summer months, and then I just went off surfing in the winter months. That was my lifestyle back then.
Yeah.
Good
and then
lifestyle.
You started competing, and I don't know, I got this feeling like it's called freestyle, but it's what you were doing was freestyle, and what the guys were doing was more like competition.
Boom. Yeah, competition
type thing, you know, like it's super structured these days, and you would go out and do like a cheese roll, I don't know if
duck type, and then
one-footed forward with a rail grab or things like this and whatever, and you are not really getting scored and not really, what's that experience like where, it
To be
feels...
honest, my idols, they were like the guys which were actually the king of the lake guys, back in the days where they were doing just spokes. George Stone, he was just doing a spoke, maybe 1 feet spoke, 1 hand spoke. The crowd was going wild, and that's the point. You don't need to do the craziest dribble, whatever slide or whatever move. A plain forward, like a nice forward in front of the crowd, it's still the most spectacular thing, and it's, for me, freestyle is all about the show. It's not about proving, hey, I can do this, I can do that on that side, on this side. And it came to a point where I also started to train the moves on both sides, just as I knew I got to do them. And to be honest, the best results I was reaching when I was sailing boring. I was doing shaka that side, shaka this side, and then like culo there, culo here. And I know people got world champions like this, they got titles like this, but for me, freestyle was all about the show. Also a hand track, body track, or something like body track, one-handed and no-handed body track getting completely messed up. That's freestyle, That's the reason why I'm always stoked to be on the water, because every session is different, it's never the same. Conditions always change, it's always challenging, and it's just so good to be out in the nature. And of course, you know this feeling, the competition watch is on, now it's your time to show, now it's your time to prove, and then you go all in and you go over your fear, and you don't care anymore what you're trying. I mean, for me, it was always carnage. But what I'm missing a bit is, imagine we would have more super sessions. The last dribble loop attempt, it's so long ago, and I'm 100% sure Ricardo and especially Philip, he could stump them on lock, but they don't need to, because the competition format at these days doesn't want to see a triple loop. They want to see the consistency, and they want to see maybe 1 jump only or maybe 2 jumps, but then they don't think about a triple loop. It's too risky. But if we would have those super session, like the winner takes it all or something, people would go out of their mind, push loop into air chachu and stuff like this. We're not seeing this stuff, because the competition is killing a bit the creativity, and it's not so inspiring to watch PWA these days. It could be, but it's not so,
Yeah, I get the same feeling a little bit, that freestyle is so freaking cool, but it's kind of a lot of the same.
Yeah.
You know?
We don't want to see another culo, because we know all of us do culos, It's otherwise it's gonna be another thing, It's gonna be, all right, you guys need to prove this trick. But what we actually want to see is the new tricks and people going out of their mind,
The new tricks and the show tricks, like you say, like when Tonki does a wheelie skipper and goes sliding fin first for like 200 meters and then does a shaka to the crowd and whatever, or Josh Stone used to end his heat like, sliding fin first onto the beach and high-fiving everyone.
Yeah. That's freestyle.
I'm with you here. I kind of miss that a little bit.
But there's the other point, PWA is a riders association, so it's also our decision. But the freestyler, they're also known for never showing up at the meetings, I mean, that's the problem. Even the freestyle meetings, they're like 10 stoned guys. They're like, what's going on, Where am I, what I'm doing here? But it's not true. I mean, all the freestylers I know, they got their shit together, on the water. But off the water, we're not that easy to control, because we're all crazy monkeys, want to freestyle and have this sensation of trying tricks and doing tricks. But in the end, when it comes to marketing and money, it's always dirty.
This is what I was about to ask you. Like, do you feel like we're missing a little bit? Like, you go and negotiate with a brand, and you are the best example of this, because you are already known. Your edits were already blowing up with these double shifties and I don't know, all sorts of different moves you were doing. I don't know, cheese roll into bonka, or cheese roll into forward, and a lot of moves that other people didn't bother to try because they didn't need in the contest. But then in the contest you would come, I don't know, 15th, whatever, 17, like between 17th and 9th and whatever, and you wouldn't really get sponsored because you're not doing the results, even though you're probably way more known than a guy that is 7th.
That's the point. To be honest, I don't even know how important, I mean, this season, of course, but also last season, for me, of my point as a free surfer, I could probably have earned more money than winning the competition and being first. Best example is Coito. You know, he wins competition after competition, but when you're looking at his social media, he's every 3 months he's posting something which is ridiculous. You know, we're all like, whoa. But I don't know if he's only sailing I mean, now he's a dad, so it's everything. It's another story. But we didn't used to see like every day progression and every day something new. And, you know, it's always all 3 months there was something coming which was like a shocker, which is also nice and cool. But in the end, I don't know if he's sailing only 2 or 3 times a month, you know. That's what I've got the feeling. So
nah, for sure he's not. But I guess my question is like, so now you found your sponsors and you found your little niche, you know, but how hard was it for you, like looking like, fuck, I'm actually giving my sponsors way more than some guys in the top 10, but I need to freaking landscape 8 hours a day to even make it to the contest, you know?
That's that, you know. I felt like a slave, you know. I was putting all my life into windsurfing. Still, I'm putting all my life into water sport, and I realized, boy, I won't get sponsors as long as I'm not asking for them. And I think my biggest problem, that's also the biggest point, I was never good in answering mails. Because I was, as I said, you know, I was the freestyler. I was the guy on the water. I was sessioning the sessions on the water. And since I realized, oh, you got to actually answer your mails, I realized there were also quite a few good proposals, you know. But if you never ask for anything, you will never get rewarded. But it took me quite a long time to realize this, you know. But I'm also, you know, now talking out to the young guys, the upcoming guys, it's very important to sort of also get your office shit together, you know. It sounds weird, and no one would expect that I would be like once a week behind the computer, but these days I get so many questions and I get so much like stuff asked, and all I remember was Josh Stone was telling once, he's trying to answer everyone's question, you know. And I was like, that's impossible. But if you actually get through it and you get shit done, I'm talking about not much it's not that much, you know, when you compare it to a full-time job.
Yeah, this was in his movie. I had this movie on VHS.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you know, like I heard this and I sent him an email and he never replied. So
never replied. Yeah. Yeah, but that's probably, you know, that's probably, you know, you can talk about it, but in the end it's another story when you're doing it. No, but when I'm now comparing 9 hours digging in the dirt and landscaping, answering like half an hour mails is not that much to do, and it's necessary to keep your sponsors. And I mean, now from another perspective, I make a bit older, I totally understand it's not only about how you sail, it's also about how you're actually promoting your sailing. And I think that's the most important thing I actually changed just lately. And you know, I'm not looking forward to make money, but I'm just looking forward to have enough money to actually windsurf and live my dream. And right now it's happening, but it's a lot of work. I'm daily on the water, and when you're off the water, you got to, it's stressful, you know, to prove enough promotion, or like to prove that you're doing something for your sponsors.
It is. So how, if you don't mind me asking, how is the structure of a contract of a free surfer, you know? Because for me, it's just results. It's just like PWA results. You get 5th, you get this, you get 3rd, you get this, whatever.
I got out of this. To be honest, my latest deals, they're not anymore. Then I mean, the results, they're still important to prove that the gear you're riding is good. But what's the biggest change now for me is since this season, I have now the Severn, the Foil Freak as a pro model, and I have this foil from Moses as a pro model. So I sort of turned into a developer. So I'm more in R&D and actually getting money out of the products which the brands are selling. And that, you know, I hope I don't get screwed up. I mean, with Moses, I don't know, you know, it's you don't have the insights. You don't know how much gets actually sold, you know. I mean, I'm asking for it, but you're never 100% sure, you know. And now I'm at the stage, I don't want to have my own brand. I would like to have my ideas and my dream gear on the market for everyone. And I think my latest deal actually changed from being an active rider on the tour and having necessary good results to a deal where I'm actually it's more important to produce good gear now. And that's the biggest change I could have done as a free surfer. And I think it's a dream for everyone to have like this possibility to be involved in creating different or good gear, you know. I'm not calling it good gear, it's different gear, you know.
Yeah.
It's everyone's own decision.
I think if you'd want to start your own brand, you'd find there is a lot more than half an hour of emails per day.
Yeah, that's the problem, you know. That's the problem. It's you know, it's cool and nice to dream of it's like those air castles. I'm always telling, oh, my brand, that's my dream. And I realized with the Ambi guys now, it was their dream to have their own brand, but they're facing now struggle, which is real. You know, when it comes to having a production, you got to prove, as you said, you got to prove much more than just a bit freestyling around, you know.
Yeah, Anders said, like, when he started his brand, he was like, you know, testing and putting all the heart into everything, and then he was like going to a shop, and he's like, this board is 6 kilo, it's the stiffest thing on the market, you know, he's like, okay, what are the payment terms?
And then everyone starts to be, that's what I said before. When money is involved, it's going to be dirty. And you know, the coolest thing, those words of John, you know, money is cool, but it's not fucking everything. No, it was Greg Anderson, the surfer, you know.
Yeah.
And he's like telling, money is cool, but it's not fucking everything. But in the end, you know, we got to make a living. So we got to eat something. And
yeah, it's kind of easy to say that when you're making, like, he was making like
huge,
you know, 500 grand from Quicksilver and traveling wherever he wanted, you know, and whatever. I would be curious to ask him now that he totally disappeared, you know. Yeah,
exactly. You know, a big idol of me is Nicolas Müller, this snowboard dude. He has those super segmented and Japan air grabs. And this guy, when Corona was coming up, he put some suspicious stuff on his Facebook account, and boom, overnight he lost all his sponsors. He was a well-earning athlete, and overnight he lost everything. And you know, that's what we're facing every day. That this fear of you got to prove something to be. And that's why it's the most important thing is actually to be in contact with your sponsors, to actually answer the mails and ask them what you got to do, you know, and prove them also that you're doing it right or they're happy with you. But I mean,
and you need to keep proving. It's endless. No, it's like
exactly.
You know, now I don't know. This year I won the the only PWA, but it wasn't a real PWA. So now you need to really step it up, and now you know, like, now you want to ask for a little bit more money, and then you need to again prove yourself that you're worth this kind of money, and then again and again and again and again. So that's why, actually, like you say, the development is nice, you know, because it's like, it's not so much stress. You do the best you can, and whatever the shaper and the designer and whoever there is, you know, allows you to do. And
but you got to be lucky to be surrounded with the right people as well, you know. That's what I'm also realizing. No, but anyway, what I want to say, lots of people 5 years ago, they were telling, oh, windsurfing is dead, it's, you know, it's, this sport is over, you know, it's not like beside kiteboarding, we were really like sinking. And now with all this foiling, I never saw as many guys windsurfing and also girls like the past weeks.
Yeah.
On yesterday on the lake, Saturday, they were on this lake where I was sailing yesterday. I don't know, there were hundreds of surfers. You know, it was full, it was stacked, and the hype was enormous. You know, and
Yeah.
the craziest thing is the industry is calling and blaming Corona that it's not going good and it's going the wrong direction. I bet it's very hard to like sort of get the constructions and all the development going on, because there was a lockdown. But I'm sure that windsurfing is growing like never before with this foiling. And like daily I'm meeting people, also with winging, you know, of course, but daily I'm meeting people which are so curious and so interested in getting onto the water. And I mean, regarding back Silva Plana, the lake was stacked.
Yeah.
There were hundreds of water sports and enthusiasts, and they were all stoked.
Yeah.
And it's nice. I like to share the stoke.
Definitely. And do you feel like this foiling thing elevated you from a guy that windsurf fans know to a guy that absolutely everybody knows? You know, like
I was talking with Jentel. You know, we're training buddies since ever. And I remember, you know, we have both like 200 followers and like 500 followers. And then like we were like joking who's going to make the first 5K, you know. And then overnight when I started foiling, it sort of exploded. So of course the coverage is going, it's going this direction. You know, I was joking always, when you want to be famous, you got to foil, you know. But it's literally because foiling is what's changing the sport lately into a positive direction. It's just bringing us water sports and the enthusiasts here in Switzerland on the water. And in the end, that's what counts. Because it used to be a sport everyone was dreaming of, and the big Hawaiian days, you know, were like the goal for everyone. But when you're only like 5 weeks a year off working, then you're not getting your amount of riding and you wish for, you know. And now with the foils, then you can have your best day every week here on the Swiss lake, which is definitely what's also putting me in this position where I am now. And of course also, you know, you can see the trophy. Not that many like you have behind you, but I'm not collecting them. So
foil freestyle world champion.
Yeah.
First ever.
Yeah. Then it's definitely not going to be easy to get in this position again, because already this season you could see Steven and also Leonard. I mean, he's pushing the sport to another limit again, and he's so young. He's 16, and it's good to see that he's also getting into foil freestyle now, even though he's from a place where he could windsurf normal almost every day, you know. I'm often getting asked why you're so good in foiling, and then I got to say it's simply because I'm coming from a place where I'm able to foil every day and windsurf maybe 5 or 6 times a year, you know.
Yeah, you mentioned Steven, you mentioned Leonard. What is pretty mind-blowing to me is that there is actually not that many of the normal freestylers that are foiling. When you talk to the guys, what is the vibe you're getting? Is it because it's dangerous, or it because it looks shit, or it because, I don't know, they live in windy places, or?
Yeah, that it's definitely they're scared of the foils. I mean, personally, I'm also scared, and I already had bad cuts. But in the end, I think the craziest thing is they don't like to go out of the comfort zone. And foiling is you're facing fear. You're constantly getting out of the comfort zone, and I think that's why many people are still afraid from. But when you're looking at Val, the youngster, he has no fear, and he's just sending it, and it doesn't look shit. The way he's popping higher with the foil, and you can go enormous, you can go huge.
No, so I don't think it looks shit from a perspective of a guy that's never done freestyle at any level. I think I find it incredible, you know, because trying double Hercules is also out of your comfort zone, you know, normal. So then, and then I see foil freestyle, and you guys as freestylers don't have so many events, and you don't get so many opportunities to show yourself. And with foiling, man, you
Yeah.
need 10 knots to compete, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That's, I mean, the same in Silvaplana. We would have never, I've been in Silvaplana 5 years ago. I started foiling 4 years ago. 5 years ago, I was bumping 5.2. I was doing wheelie skippers. And I mean, over the last years, I mean, 3 years ago, I started doing konos. Now I can do backflips out of flat water pretty much. And you know, it's where it's going, it's insane. And there's still so much possible. I'm talking about moves which are not even, you will never stick them on a normal board. I mean, with the foil, you have new possibilities, new maneuvers coming up, and we will see. Maybe it's the next generation.
Yeah. What do you see? Like, there is this move your brother does.
The slappy tricks. He's sliding foils.
I don't even know how to.
He got a new move as well. He's constantly pushing new moves. I don't know how you slide a foil.
You know, like there are some moves that, like, I know how to try. Like, I would get on the gear and like know which way to spin. Like these things that he's doing, I don't even know what the fuck is going on, you know?
Yeah. Totally agree. I mean, this season he wasn't coming because he will be father quite soon. They're becoming a kid, and that was, I mean, that was not the only reason. He just doesn't like competition. There's also the smallest brother. He's also definitely pushing the sport, but he's absolutely off the screen. You know, he's skateboarding, he's having a good life, working at the West Center in South France, but he's not facing a professional career. You know, he's just stoked being on the water. But I don't know, it needs a lot of stuff to be competitive as well. You know, it's not only, you got to be able to lose, let's say.
And you know, it seems like not only the competitors were kind of giving you shit about the foiling. It's you there was a heat in Braversdam that was and you decided, okay, I have a better chance on my foil than on my fin, and you just went with the foil and you got disqualified. Like, what rule was there to get you disqualified?
This heat, I don't even really want to talk about it, because Steven, he was telling me, yeah, come with the foil. And I was asking actually Tom Hartman, the head judge at that moment. He was like, yeah, there is no rule, you can go. And then 2 minutes before my heat, they were like telling me, we're not gonna, I mean, there is nothing written, you know, it's just a bigger fin, I was thinking. And in the end, I was doing the same moves like Steven, and we had so much fun, and it was the best heat I was actually sailing last year. It was definitely one of the best heats. And in the end, that's what freestyle is all about, you know. It's not being normal, you know. But anyway.
Yeah, this is what I meant with you, you know, that you don't really fit in the box. And it seems like when I see you, before you came around, let's say, I didn't see it this way. But now I see like this freestyle is really structured and really like in a box.
Yeah.
And then somebody else comes that is actually freestyling, and it's like they're trying to I don't know, somehow shove you aside or whatever. So, you know, but the people have spoken, you know, everybody is so stoked, like you say, your following has spiked and everything, you know, and everybody's so psyched on these.
That's what the people want to see.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. So let's just move on. What do you see? Like, how do you see the foil freestyle being incorporated into the PWA or into just freestyle windsurfing in general, on a competitive, let's say, on a competitive thing?
Yeah. Now with actually the gear getting more involved into this foiling hype. I'm not calling it a hype. I'm just calling it the latest revolution, you know. And since brands realizing, we can sell foils, BWA got to be interested too, because BWA is here to represent what the market or what's going on the market. And now these days, if you're selling a freestyle board without a deep tuttle freestyle box in Switzerland, no one will buy it. Amen. Guys there was a brand new Patrick board getting cut off the power box, and they put a deep tuttle box in, as they simply want to foil in lighter winds and freestyle in stronger winds. And that's exactly what we as freestylers got to prove is a good show. So when the wind is lighter, we should be out on the foils. As soon as the wind increases, I'm the first one changing to fin, you know. But it got to be suitable to show what we can do. And there've been a few competitions, especially also Sylt in like, I mean, the spot is gnarly. But in 15 knots, when you're barely able to do a spock, you could take the foil and you could prove push loops and shifties and whatever, you know. Then I don't see a reason to not hold a competition with the foil, you know. But it's up to the Riders Association, but who's there, you know, who's making this decision? It's us, the riders. But it's not gonna change, hopefully soon. Better soon than late, because we got to
let's
prove.
explain to people how this works. So the riders can make submissions.
Yeah.
And then
once a year, Sylt.
Yeah, once a year in the AGM, and everybody kind of discusses, and maybe there's a vote, but it's not conclusive. And then the actual vote that matters is the management board. So it's 3 sailors, 3 representatives on the industry, and the president, who's also a sailor. So,
exactly. It's a Riders Association.
Yeah. So these guys make the calls, and of course, these representatives of the sailors are voted by the sailors. The president is voted by the sailors, and the industry members are voted by the industry.
Yeah. And the funniest thing is now all the riders, they're always complaining, but in the end, it's in our hands, you know.
Yeah. Let's now imagine you vote me as the president of the PWA, and I get control, and I don't know, I'm the dictator. Let's say you vote me the dictator of the PWA. Here is what I would do with freestyle.
Yeah.
I don't know how to count it, how to do the ranking, but here is what I would do. I would go try to put an event in the center of Paris, in the center of Munich, in the center of, I don't know, all the rivers, Amsterdam, whatever, towing show, right? Yeah. I don't know if we count it for the ranking or not.
No, but just to bring freestyle onto the screen.
In the major cities, yeah? And then you have a tour that, depending on the conditions, you go with fin or foil.
Yeah.
The rules can be decided or whatever, but
there's an 80% bigger chance to have a result.
You know, you try to put an event in Garda, Silva Plana, then the existing ones, Fuerte, Bonaire, Sylt. Mm-hmm. You look for, you know, for other organizers in places that maybe before were either like too light or maybe slalom orientated places or whatever, and you know, try to put those events there. So you kind of had 3 different avenues, like, you know, towing, foil, freestyle, and the discipline. Okay, it will be maybe some different winners or something, but the discipline will be way more visible, let's say, than it is now. So what do you say to that? You sign up to my tour or not?
Media. Fully, we got to make freestyle great again. No, but hey, to be honest, we got to show what our sport offers, you know. And right now we're nothing, because Fuerteventura is, for me, I love this place because it's hardcore sailing. It really proves who has it together, you know, who's able to sail in very hard conditions. I'm not going to say anything negative about this spot. Lots of people don't like it for freestyle. I'm always telling, if you looking at it as a big playground, you can also find like the perfect conditions in these sort of conditions. But anyway, we got to prove what our sports does. And in Naxos, in the small lagoon, I've been past month in Greece. Hey, it's a small playground. It's like a skate park. One rider after the other one proves the latest freestyle show, the latest freestyle tricks. And I can't remember the last time we had a competition where every move was be done during a competition, you know. So I understand it's hard to have the proper conditions, but we got to show to the spectators what we're able to do, you know. And that got to change. And we got to go to the spectators, because they're not coming visiting Fuerteventura, the lagoon. It's this place, it's so much wind, it's you're getting sunblast watching freestyling. Yeah. I mean, they're better places, as you said. But
yeah, I think we got a little bit too specialized, too particular, you know, like many times I talk to the freestylers and I'm like, hey, you were barely planing. Why didn't you take the 5-2? You know, you're on 4-8. I cannot, I don't get the same rotation, you know?
Yeah.
But I mean, like, Antoine Albo won a world title in freestyle and he was competing on an 8-0, you know? Like, I know the moves were not the same and it looked crap compared to what it is now, but windsurfing was out there, you know? And
yeah, true.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I'm stoked and looking forward in which direction it will go, but I'm sure, I mean, the way windsurfing is now, it never been as crazy before. I mean, it always used to be a badass sport, but these days with the possibilities and what's coming up, it's mind-blowing. I mean, they're young Japanese kids, 13-year-olds doing the latest freestyle tricks. You know, I was always telling, my dad was also always telling, there must be more in this sport than what we actually seen on the screen. And I'm totally agree, you know. It's just, it shouldn't be unlimited. We should actually have the, as you said, we're getting a bit forced into those 3 events, but we should open our minds and just share the stoke, you know.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
As Brian always said, action, and more action.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's shift the gear to what you actually want to talk about. Winging.
Right.
Is it here to stay, you think? Proper sport?
Probably gonna, I mean, since the backflip is here in the house, it's here to stay for sure. I'm scared what's still gonna come, but it's definitely here to stay. And also the racing part, the best benefit of this sport, I mean, there's, you're unconnected to the board, so there are unlimited possibilities. And absolutely crazy is you got full on power and you can put it neutral and you got normal power. This is not happening in any other sport. In kiting, you're always attached. In windsurfing, you open the sail, you slow down. In winging, you just put it into neutral, you got normal power. You pull it back, you got power. So it's a really cool and fun toy. And it's definitely here to stay, but it's sort of got to find his niche, you know. It's, I think many people will do it in like open swell, riding down unsurfable waves, which are now fantastic with the wing.
Poland.
I mean, yeah, Poland, Switzerland on our lake. There is now a foil surfing scene growing more and more. There used to be a few guys trying to surf, I don't know, knee-high waves, and they were freaking stoked on like the 5 big days a year. And now they're pump foiling every evening almost. They're pumping around. They're super active and fit. They're having a blast. And when there's a little bit of wind, they just take out their wings and they're shredding the Swiss lakes, you know, the Swiss waves, and they're stoked. So definitely it's here to stay. It's very unclear in which direction it goes. Either the boards, the foils, especially the wings, it's changing daily. There is a new sensation, a new something new coming up. But racing, it was shitloads of fun in Silla Plana. I mean, it was not yet the right concept. We didn't get it together. But from my perspective now, I know next year there will be I think it will be a big tour. If they coordinating it right, it can be a huge thing. And it's for sure also good for windsurfing because it's just showing that people are active on the water. It's bringing new people into water sport. They might even start windsurfing and realizing, oh, that's also nice. I mean, lately I see so much potential in this new sport. So exciting time.
Maybe, you know, like for me, for example, I went winging. I rode my shitty Polish waves for, I don't know, 5 days in a row, whatever. And then I needed to get a board with straps to start jumping. And I did a jump and whatever. But it's like, I'm not going to go and do backflips because I'm going to kill myself, you know. Maybe I can do a 360, but I'm already like an expert windsurfer. So do you not feel like maybe for the regular winds, like this is where kiting really wins. Like kiting, you know, you go back and forth and you can jump, you know, after 2 weeks, you can jump, you know?
Yeah. And people are, oh, yeah. But to be honest, winging is also easy. It's a very easy and accessible way to learn foiling. Because I got the feeling with the beginner wing gear we're having these days, you can put an absolutely bloke on a board and he's flying after 10 minutes, you know, and this is ridiculous. Windsurfing, you sort of you got to get your shit together and you got to be on it, you know, you got to do something for it. And the reward is quite small in windsurfing because it's a hard sport, but that's why I like it. It's always challenging, you know. Winging, I don't know how big and how challenging it is, you know. But the sensation, the feeling in the end, it's nice. You're out on the water, playing in the nature. You're like a bird, you know, fooling around, flying around and having fun.
Yeah, I love having it. I love having it in the van for certain conditions and when I'm bored or whatever.
And
but
also when I just want to have a quick session, you know, and it's maybe only like 50 to 50 meter of water surface. I've been now at plenty small lakes where I wouldn't go windsurfing. It's hard to access, or it's just too small, the water surface, super gusty. With the foil, I just bump around and you get through the wind holes, and then you get a small shift again, and you like sort of
or you go under a bridge.
Yeah, exactly. Where you wouldn't. It's just you know, winging. You're so quick in It's so quick for doing jibes and tacks. That's what I like, and I really hope. The way I was telling before, I was in Silva Plana. We were doing this first race. I really hope it's not going to be like a 1 km reach with the wing. Otherwise, it's going to be super boring to watch. But the cool thing with the wing is you can actually do small tacks and runs and reaches. So we're going to do, I don't know what sort of course, maybe even a Super X course, you know, because it's super easy to jump. So maybe a sausage, 2 short reaches, and then...
Yeah, it doesn't look very fast. It needs to be like an agility course, I think, you know.
Exactly. But it needs to be simple to understand.
Or like this one race I did in Poland, which was a longer course, but you had to stop at certain stations and do certain things, you know.
Rum.
It was like I think they had a tower. You had to climb the tower. Yeah. And there was shots, and there was, you didn't know which one was which. Yeah. Some were vodka, some were water, and some were, how you say, spirit, like 95% alcohol, you know.
Completely fucked up.
So
that's good, you know. That's you know, in the end it needs to be fun, and I'm in for such things, you know. But with the wing, it's going to be freaking dangerous. That's the only negative aspect of winging. It's really, as you're not attached to your board, as we said previously, the board flies in every direction. It turns and you're actually above the foil. So scary, but fun.
Yeah, but as soon as you're going to have more control, you know, it's not going to be. Already you guys the racing in Silva Plana looked okay. It didn't look super dangerous, you know.
Yeah, by the Silva Plana, we also had an upwind course, and it was just about bumping. Just bumping my ass off. I could have let go of the wing and just do the bump course, you know. That's what I mean. It is still a lot to develop, but hey, rumors. We had a meeting with this GWA association just 2 days ago. A very, it's getting there. The structure is here. Tom is involved as well. Tom Hartman as a judge, and it's gonna be interesting time with events coming up everywhere. Now they're popping out like shrooms because everyone sees, oh, there's potential, you know. Yeah. So right now it's going to be, the hard thing going to be to set it right and have it structured. So it's not going to be as it was in kiting, you know, it got completely lost, out of control. It's going to be the most important and hard thing. But for me, tomorrow, you know, with my ankle at the moment, I will go strapless, cruising around, taking some lake waves. Yesterday I was also strapless doing some freestyle, which was...
Hey, how about you take a break, mate?
Not tomorrow. And hopefully I don't need to take a break anytime soon, but this day off, I got to work on that. If I got to progress anything in my career at the moment, it's finding the rest time.
Yeah.
It's hard. With the winging,
just
it's
find
just
some other, like you say, emails, media, editing videos,
yeah.
things like this, you know.
That's true. But nothing gives me the same sensation of being out there and having fun on the water, you know.
For sure, man. I have
I'm
a list.
addicted.
I have a list of things to do. Like now I came back from competing and the next contest is in 2 months. And my list of things to do that are not on the water is like full page, you know. And but anytime there's conditions, I really want to go, you know, because
we're addicted.
It's what we do, you know, is what we love. So
cool. And I like to share the stoke, you know. That's why when you texted me, you were scared I would not answer you. I love to do this stuff, you know. I'm talking about windsurfing all day. My girlfriend Eva even thinks I'm ridiculous, you know. I'm dreaming of windsurfing. I'm windsurfing all day, and then in the evenings I'm talking about windsurfing. But she's the same, you know. That's cool. We share the same stoke, you know. But she's more into she couldn't talk about windsurfing, but she lives it, you know. That's the nice thing. Yeah. We should stop talking now because we talk too much shit.
No, it's good. Cool. It's good. Let's touch on one more thing. I missed this subject when you were actually talking about the gear, and I think for a lot of people it's quite interesting because everybody's still a little bit lost what kind of gear to choose. Like for example, if I want to go foil freestyling, I know maybe the board more or less, but give us a rundown of like. Let's say you want to go, foil freestyle or like free ride freestyle, you know, doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This, you know, when I'm looking at my phone, there are about 10 to 20 messages every morning. Hey, which foil should I buy? What do you recommend, especially with the wing as well? So I'm always telling it's quite simple. The smaller the foil, the better for freestyling, for jumping, the easier to land, the harder to actually use. And you always got to make sure, I mean, I'm 80 kilo, and when I'm taking a too small foil, I struggle. I'm not going to have fun. And
what size wings? What size wing area?
With Moses, we have those 3 foils I'm using at the moment. It's my pro model, the 740 area square cm. This one is small, fast, but you got to have, let's say, like 60 knots of wind. You got to have a bit of wind. And then there's the medium wing, the 790, which has 1500. That's this foil you could even use for both disciplines, for winging and windsurfing. And when you're into freeride winging, just cruising around 1500 square cm, this one is super easy, the 790. And then winging, that's my 1100, the huge one. This one has 2100 square cm. This is huge. But those are, at the moment, I'm using these 3 foils. I'm developing something here in between, like a 1000 square cm foil, which is coming soon. A bigger foil freestyle wing, which is for the lighter days and for the guys which don't want to put so much effort into pumping.
And fuselage length?
90 cm, super, super easy. It's stable enough, but not too long. Otherwise, it's going to be hard with the landings. The mast 85. I realized for myself, it's better to have not too long mast because it's going to be too much of drag doing spins, but in the end you got to have a bit of length. Stop starting foiling with super short mast. It's if you have a stiff and solid mast, it's all about the rigidity, but if you have no torsion flex, a stiff long mast is a dream.
It's way easier to start foiling. People think like, for the beginning I can have a 65 cm. Bullshit, you need 100, you know.
Yeah. More, I mean, slingshot is even 1 meter 25 right now.
I have a 120. And it's like you cannot, like, it's impossible to crash. It's just so easy, you know.
Exactly, you not get out the water. No, but that's the point. So lots of people always asking, can I use the same foil for wing and for wind foiling? Certainly yes, but it's going to be a medium wing size, which is hard to bump up on the wing. So on the wing, you got to use the bigger sizes. That's at the moment it is like this.
Yeah. So like a 2000 for light wind winging, 1500 for medium winging, and then the 1500 becomes your biggest wind windsurfing foil. Yeah.
Exactly.
And then when you want to go freestyle and you want to jump and pop, is it the speed that gives you the pop, or is it actually the movement much more?
It's the speed gives the height, and the movement gives the controlled pop. But it's definitely, you got to fly, and you got to think of a chop hop. You got to make the same movement. You're actually forcing the foil down. If you're touching the water surface, you're gonna reduce speed and you won't get that high. So you got to find the high flight control going down. Don't touching the water surface, but sort of make this almost touch down, and then get as much out of the wings as possible, and push your back feet into the board, like through the board.
For me, I found I never went full freestyling, but obviously I love to jump my racing gear.
Yeah.
Finian is gonna kill me if he sees this. But I found, like, with my 650 slalom wing, I don't know if it's because it's smaller, this wing, or because it just goes faster, but it's the best, like
easier. That's totally
I think
agree.
it's easier to get a smaller wing out of the water.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I mean, we're still gonna see lots of the industry developing, but for now, at the moment, speed is the key, and the backflip is easy with a foil if you have the right speed. And also, I know a few guys which are able to do freestyle tricks. They're not even into freestyling. They maybe done some Vulcans and stuff, and now they can do shakas, kulos, burners. Roham is the best example. I mean, every session he's improving. And in Silvaplana, I saw 2-3 freestylers now, full freestyler coming up. They're not able to do a switch kono normal with normal windsurfing. They do the half kono, like the half 360 into kono. And they're coming up to me and they're like, hey, what's the next trick to do now? And I'm like, what? They're like on a very basic freestyle level in normal fin surfing, and on foil styling, they're getting it's easier to get the pop. And in the end, it's all you got to do is make the rotation right and happening. But in the end, that's all from the takeoff. A good takeoff is the most important thing about foil freestyle.
Yeah. Okay, that's a really good note to finish on, but we have this little section of questions that we ask everybody, the same questions. Yes. So let's see how you do.
Yeah.
What are your pet peeves?
Can't really answer it. But nightmare for sure is like foil flips.
Yeah, but now that you've done it, you cannot list it there. You need another one.
I got to, because it's not gonna, now it's a double. That's what I mean. And let's say expectations, because it's when people expect something of you, then you got to prove it,
How many times a day do you pee your wetsuit?
It depends on the temperature. The colder it gets, the more often.
Yeah,
because it's sort of boiling and keeping you warm,
Yeah. Your guilty pleasure. Boiling treasure. Come on, don't be so boring. I know you love a beer.
But the best is after a foil session, you turn the board and you put your beers on the foil bar,
Yeah. But you know what? Somehow I've never had better beer than in Australia. You remember?
Yeah.
You come out of the water, it's so hot.
Salty, hot water, and then a cold beer.
Sunset on the stairs of Margaret River. Fucking amazing. Yeah.
Still burned in my brain.
And and you remember the rules when you break.
Yeah, when you break gear.
Yeah, when you break gear and you end up in the river mouth, you need to buy a carton of beer for everybody.
I done that quite early on the trip.
I think every session we were going to the bottle shop, and it was $50. I remember I had zero money. I was 21. I had zero or 20.
And we had to spend it all on the beer because we broke so much gear.
And it was $50, man. The carton was $50.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I remember that clear as day.
Crazy.
Your top 5 windsurfers of all time.
Top up must be Josh Stone for what he done with freestyling. And then definitely there's Levi up in the game for his style. Bushma for his craziness. And then I would say Marsilio, because he's collecting the old school with the new school. And now, hard decision. Got to choose one last person. It's Sarah Kita, because she's proving that the sport is it's not only done by those blocks, that those badass mans, she's proving that freestyling can be done also on a girls level. And I mean, what she does is crazy. It's very inspiring also for us guys. And in Greece, she was competing also with the mans and she was kicking asses. And I would be very nervous competing against her in PWA. And I mean, also she's not the only girl. Lately, what's going on with freestyling with the girls, all that pushing hard, and Mike is definitely here to kick Sarah off the throne quite soon. So big shout out to all the girls pushing our sport in a positive way, Otherwise, it's going to be too much cooking around.
And Sarah now started foiling as well. I saw an Insta story, so
maybe even for freestyling. No, I gave them a wing lesson and they both enjoyed it a lot, Oda and Sarah. So we'll see. Hope to see them more getting into foil freestyle. That would be nice.
Yeah.
And Lena as well. She's also hyped to be on the foil. Cool.
Most underrated windsurfer of all time.
Yeah, it's a good question. Most underrated windsurfer of all time. It got to be Nick Hibic. Nick Hibic, because he's Nick. Nick.
Nick Hibdich. Yeah.
Because he's he's living freestyling to the fullest, But it's, as I said before, we got to get freestyle. Not only we got to sort of promote freestyling in a positive way, but if you're going through life only freestyle, it's sad to hear that lots of freestylers won't get a budget next season because of the whole situation. But guys like him, they're so inspiring for our sport, because always when they're on the water, they're killing it. They're pushing boundaries, and they're pushing our sport forward. And without those guys, freestyle would look boring. It would be, as you said, it would be a show where guys have a list in their sail and they're going from trick A to B, So Nick definitely he's deserved this shout out for sure.
Yeah, his last edit was pretty mental. There was a trick that I didn't really understand. Like,
I think nobody did, not even him. Yes.
Yeah. Would you like to see obstacles in slalom?
Definitely, 100%. But it used to be, the Super X used to be a big thing, and it was cool because the spectators, they had something to expect, And these days, I totally agree. It's all about speed, and it's all about it's technical, it's hard, but it would make it. For guys like you, it would be probably nice because you got to be a good overall skilled sailor to win, It's not only about being the fastest guy on the water. So it would be spectacular.
Yeah. And it adds an element like, it's the last reach, but you still don't know who's going to win the race, So
exactly, because it could be, anything could happen.
A big catapult. And I'm like, I'm the ambassador of this idea, but probably the first heat I'm going to fucking catapult over the sausage straight.
Yeah, imagine Fuerteventura, someone in front of you, and you just don't hit the chop right, and then the guys after you running you over.
Yeah,
that's why they stopped Super X. It got too dangerous.
Yeah, and also it looked like when they did it in Costa Brava in 10 knots, 12 knots.
It wasn't that. They just barely made it over the sausage.
Like a spin loop with an 8-meter sail, super wet. It doesn't really look so nice,
Yeah.
So, yeah. Beach starts, yes or no?
Sure. That makes it. When Robbie Nash was in his glory days, he used to go to shore break. They were running into the water. That was, I mean, part of the show. And especially as the spectators, they're close to it, so they can see it and they feel how hard it is to get to the shore break. So it's part of the game. It got to be there.
One spot you'd have to sail for the rest of your life every single day.
It would be, I want to have all sort of conditions now, but it probably would be big bay firing, because you have jumping, freestyle, and a bit of riding.
I knew. I was about to say Big Bay, and yeah. It's flat in between the waves, isn't it? It's
exactly. And you can send you out of the orbit, but still sort of ride a few waves. So all in one. Yeah.
Yeah. Your worst check-in story?
Being knocked out in the water.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who is like your worst competitor?
I would say Koito. Because I'm doing a Basco, he does it one-handed, you know, in my face. Which is nice, you know, in a positive way.
Yeah.
Never won against him.
Really? Wow. Yeah. Yeah, actually he's dominating since
since ever.
So.
Good. Yeah. He's a Superman.
Yeah.
Like no one else at the moment.
Yeah. You get $1 million in cash and you need to spend it in 24 hours. What do you get?
At the moment, I shouldn't tell it too loud, but I would do there's this lake where I'm always sailing, got this thermal wind. I got only parking space for 10 cars, and it's always stacked, and there's way more people. So what I would do, I would dig a big cave in that actually wall, in that rock. So I would make there my own foiling station, wing foiling, wind foiling, and it would be, I mean, all we need is just parking lots. So I'm not showing up at the spot, and then all the lots are already gone, and you got to go. You don't have access. The wind is actually blowing at this rock, and we're parking at this rock. So I would make there a windsurf station with enough parking space. And I would make shitloads of money, because I would make the most expensive foil lessons there. No, it's not. It's, to be honest, it's only to have proven space to have a session there. That's all it is. So I'm not calling the lake out now.
If with $1 million you can actually dig a massive cave in the rock, but
exactly. And I would make my station there. I would make a ramp into the water with the foil, so we could actually launch straight planing into the water surface. And to get out the water, I don't know, maybe also sort of a ramp. But I would make a badass foil station there.
Yeah.
Not calling out the spot now.
Okay. Last but not least, who would you like to hear on this podcast? So you can watch on your off day. So you can have a nice day off. Yeah, and watch a podcast or listen.
Got to be a girl. It got to be a girl, and I would even make a woman, because what she's pushing, what she does for this sport is insane, and I hope she really finds her niche and gets a living from it. Because the last time I talked to her, she was like not sure if she's able to make a living from windsurfing, and she wasn't even thinking that she would be a professional windsurfer. But as much as we deserve make a living from windsurfing, the girls also got to make a living from windsurfing. And not the girls in bikini, you know.
I need to kind of explain myself, because it's all guys, but I've been texting so many girls. Yeah. And it's always like, okay, we'll do it next week, or now I don't have time, or like you say, some of them, they have day jobs.
Yeah.
They cannot really do it. You know, Daida just got a kid, so I don't think.
Well, we got to give them a platform, you know. I mean, and it just makes the sport greater, you know. Like it used to be back in the days, the girls were as much involved as the man's now, you know, and that's nice. And as well, I mean, together with Eva, with my girlfriend, it's so cool to see how we both have so much fun on the water, and especially this foiling. Yesterday I saw a young girl foiling for the 5th time, and she was so stoked. It's no reason to not give them the chance to make it professional. That's what I would say. Yes,
definitely.
Cool.
Okay.
Cool.
Perfect timing.
Long talk.
Yeah.
Next time when we're speeding up to the spot, it's also good just to listen to it.
That's what I do. That's what I didn't even want to have video when we started this project, but Profit was like, no, we need to have video, and we're gonna put some action on top of it and whatever. And I just listened to these things in the car, and I
kept pumped to get sailing.
Yeah, and I kept listening to Formula One and basketball and this and that. I'm like, fuck, we need a windsurfing one,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
So there we go. So now everybody can listen to Balz Müller and get hyped, man. And when I listen to you, I want to go and try doubles and stuff and do all the stuff that I was scared of,
Yeah.
And my ankle actually hurts because I heard it skateboarding and I'm like, fuck it, I go anyway.
Yeah, that's a good word to end this podcast. Right. Yeah. Hey, thank you a lot. Hope to see you soon.
Yeah.
And keep pushing. Don't kill yourself. But push. Have a good one. Thank you a lot.
If I kill myself, it's on you. It's because of you.
Yes. Ciao.
Cheers, buddy.
Have a good one.
And there you go, the crazy man that is Balz Müller, taking foil freestyle and foiling to a new level. I'm interested where he's going to go with the winging, and he's a really interesting guy to follow. I suggest you follow me on Instagram and get involved with that. I hope you liked that episode. Give us a thumbs up, if you liked it. And if you want to chip in some beers, keep these podcasts coming because they're long things to edit. They do take a while to get going. As I said before, Maciek's doing an amazing job. Or maybe you want to sponsor the podcast. It's out there. If you like these things and you want to get your name on the podcast, maybe we can oblige. But chip in some beer money. If not, follow the channel. Loads more stuff to come. And I'll put the podcast links to other podcasts we've done up there. And thanks for following.